Hi guys, Mr. Dr. Logic here. Module 11 is the demon that I check underneath my bed before I go to sleep at night. It is literally the monster, okay? It took everything I knew about this course so far, threw it out the window, and had to work basically from scratch. So this particular module, well, let me give you another metaphor to introduce it, okay? Every other module, it's been building up to a certain point where you take a pickaxe, you climb up a mountain, and voila, you're at the top of the mountain. Now your next goal is to the moon. That's what module 9 was for me. Now, the reason I've divided the thing as Series A, Series B, and Series B.2, you'll figure out why later, is because, well, first, I'm going from easiest to hardest. Secondly, this is mainly a review. If you've watched the playthrough or watch me give you the walkthrough of the entire module, this is pretty much it. Think of this as Melanie's slides, and basically what I have done here. This is the easiest way to explain it. There is no other way, and I thought a visual diagram would help you out. So I'm going to give like a 5-second pause and explain it to the best of my ability if at any point it does seem confusing. Okay, so Series A. Now, the reason I think it's Series A is because it blatantly says A right over here and right over here. The screenshots were terrible, so yeah. Whoops, didn't mean to do that one. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened here. It's A, you know what, I'll leave that. It's A because of that A. That's primarily why I did it. If I were to go to the other ones, you would see WG, like S squared WG, and that's the reason why I picked B. I'm now scrolling down, CM. The CM, I used it to determine what? 3 and Y. First, we had to establish the measurement position. This module does not tell you what the measurement position is. It's 0 because 65 right here, because all the decimal place, yeah, because it's all what? It's all to like the decimal point. We don't know if it's 64.9 or it's 50 or 62.2. And so both of them are 65, okay? So the measurement precision here is 0. Had this been like a decimal place, you would have to include these two, but we don't see that here specifically in the data. So that's why I'm saying the measurement precision here is 0. And this is important when you enter your answers here. Okay, now we're going to go calculate the CM. I've already laid out the formula. It's easy to follow. And the reason I've done it like this is so that you can do the calculations, record the number yourselves, and see and trust the process because I've already done this. Now, quickly, I want to explain that N is equal to the number of participants. And they use N and P interchangeably here, which really confuses me. But I've basically classified as N as the number of people participating, and P as the number of groups / conditions. It's also referred to as M at one point, but we'll get into that later. So CM is pretty much laid out here. You're given it all where it's total A. So this is the formula right here. Obviously, it's going to be better. I recorded this a few days ago, so this is why it's like this. This is y squared. It's given to you in black right here, so this is what happens. The orange, you take the blue, you square each and every one of them individually, add them all up, and divide them by 9, and subtract it with CM. And then SP, which is arguably one of the hardest ones because of redundancy. And if you mess one number, you get them all wrong. So you gotta add all 9 of these up specifically. That's what I mean, sum of all 9 and divided by 3 because of the formula given right here. And then you get your answer minus CM. And so, yeah, this is the final answers you must have gotten for all of these. So if you did, so because we established that MP was equal to 0, so this would technically be 8. This wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. And 5. I mean, you get the idea now. So this is what you would be submitting for as your final answer. However, when calculating the last part, do not forget the decimal places. That's why they give it to you like this. So yeah, quick note, real point right here. The important thing is the understanding of the process and how we do these problems and not the numbers. Because my computer crashed and this module got terminated early, I had to switch to a new model. So if I go down here and it's like completely different from your answers or what we've done here, least trying to understand. When I'm going to do the walkthrough, you'll see it'll remain consistent. So here, what I've done is I've laid out here. What I've laid out is the conditions, right? So as we have already established, df is actually the condition. So if you remember from P up here, technically, if we were to bring this up here, condition, so P minus 1. This is what this is right here. It would be 2 here, but remember, my thing crashed, so it's 3 here. So if we reverse engineer this, we could say it's 4. Okay, and then the same thing here for n. Conveniently, it was 9 over there, 9 for that run through, and it was 9 for this run through. So this came out nicely. Now the WP is actually not the addition, but in fact the multiplication of these two. So this is wrong. So it's actually the multiplication of these two. So it's 3 times 8 that gave you 24. And the reason I say it's easy to reverse engineer is that P times n minus 1, which was 4. Yeah, which was 4 times 9 minus 1, that gave you 35. Obviously, they won't do it in this order. So what they'll do is here, I'm gonna erase all these. So take a screenshot of this or what you want. Whoa, all right. Let's get rid of all of these arrows to avoid confusion. So what they'll do is first, they'll ask you this. Second, you have to do this. Okay, so you'll have to do SSA divided by DFA. Although I did not clearly explain it here like this, but this is actually what they have done to get the answer right over here as labeled number 1. And same thing here for number 2. So this is how it will pretty much work. You do this first, then you solve for this. You do this second or third, then you do this fourth. Okay? You might be a little confused and you might be struggling to follow along. But we do this one first, this one second, this one third. That's not a 3. This one fourth, this one fifth, this one sixth, and this one 7. Don't worry, just trust the formula here. Just trust the formula here, and you'll do just fine. And the formula here for the F ratio, so basically this does give you the F ratio, and you are dividing the 2. So you're dividing this with this one to get the F ratio for 2.2 minus 3, and it's simply done here for SMP. WP, which is 42.4537. You can easily do this one. Okay, now here comes the chart or whatever. So the 3 and the 24, what we actually do is we follow through with this formula and we apply it right here into this. So what we actually see is that the 3 is used in the top, 24 is used in the top as well, and then they actually want the 0.95. I don't know how they missed this, but this was actually a random guess because I got so many errors. So they could put that as the answer, and I got the correct answer. So you can see here, it's both the same. You are correct, you got that answer. And then you would have to compare it. Because this was in top 95, essentially this means 0, F, oops, 3.008. So this was pretty much your limit, and whether 2.32 fits is to determine up to you whether you accept or reject. And we accept because 2 is smaller than 3. I mean 2.3 is smaller than this 3, and it's bigger than this 0. So this is why we accept it here. And so we continue with the same process as we duplicate the formula. So if you're ever confused what to do, just look at the F ratio here to determine what you got to do, and just always subtract it with 1 minus the alpha, which it always is 0.05. So the alpha is always here. I have not encountered a case where it's 0.1 or whatever, but this is always the alpha. And so if we were to compare this number to 14.39, I'm pretty sure we would reject because this is the upper bounds and this goes completely over it. I don't know why. Well, this is before I originally knew, because we're comparing 0. That to whoops, 2.3551, and then it's up to you to determine whether the 14.39 That's a big circle for a tiny number. Whether it fits in this number. So how are we doing on time? Ooh, 10 minutes. That's not good. All right. So we continue on to Series B Part 1. This is actually the easier one of the two, and you'll see why I've labeled each one specifically. So this is actually a colors experiment, but I've seen that they have changed between the both of them. If you notice that A and B were actually the same color experiment, so you gotta be careful. And this is also a B because remember how I said this was SWG? If you squint your eyes hard enough, you can see that right there. And so when I saw that, I thought immediately this was a B situation, and we were given all this data. And so we continue with an MP of 0 again because of the 66 point whatever. It could be 66, I mean, it could be 65.9 or it could be 66.1. We don't know. And so that's why we go to the measurement precision of 0. And here it's better explained, where the CM, where you take all these guys, add them up, square them. Then you add all the ends together. Conveniently, it was 9 3 times. And so we got our CM answer. The same thing with STOT. So what we do is we take, not that, whoops. We actually take, come on, draw. Okay, so we take this value, and this value. So you can see here, we add them all up, minus them with the CM, and we get our final answer. Don't forget to put it in measurement precision of 0. And then finally here, we do the same thing where we take each individually. It pretty much follows the same formula as you go along. You just got to read the formula and see what it does. So you take that squared divided by 9, add all of them up, minus CM, get the final answer. This is pretty self-explanatory, but I put this in here just in case people didn't understand. And then the SSWP, which is actually these bottom numbers right here. So yeah, this is what we got. This is what those three were. And this is what the SSP was. And so if we continue down, you will get all the right answers. And it'll give you the answers like this, but truth be told, measurement precision. So this would actually be 1120. This would be out. This would be 880. And this would be 599. This is what you would have to enter because of the measurement precision. Okay, now here I purposely blurred it out so that you guys better understand how things are going. Okay, so for condition 1, if we remember correctly, the n was 9. So of course it's gonna be 8 here. And so if I were to erase this, oops, I completely forgot. This is condition. This is this is the n. This is why this. Okay, if I had put 8, that would have been wrong. So, since we've already established that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 R's or 4 conditions, the right thing here should be 3. Did I switch it out? I think I might have switched it out. Oh no, 3 conditions. Right, I forgot. It was 3 conditions. Because of 1, 2, 3. My bad, guys, my bad. I can't even teach my own lessons. This is how confusing the module is. Okay. So, this is 2. So, admittedly, this is my mistake. I completely blundered it. Please don't rip on me in the chat. But so, we would take the 2. We would take the 240. We would divide it by the 2, and we would get 120. Simple as that. And then same thing here with the within group. Okay. This time I'm not going to get it wrong. This time it's 8 because we take the n and subtract it with 1. Well, we take all the n's, we subtract it with 1. Well, it's 9 minus 1 plus 9 minus 1 plus... It's actually 24. That's what the final thing is going to be. I'm not going to erase it just yet. And then so it's going to be 24 divided by that, which gives you this number. And then the total will just be 24 plus 2, which is 26. And there you go. And then, like I explained before, first, second, third, fourth, and then, because you already have these 2, this one's going to be the 5th, so you got to be careful for that. You got to read the question if it's asking for the F ratio or not. Okay, so this is going to be the 5th, then this is going to be number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9. And I'll explain later why that one's number 9 and how to do that one. So obviously here are the formula. So the color A condition -1, so that was 2. We take the 2, we got it, we divide, we get 120. You would do it to the 4 decimal places, as you've seen consistently, because that's what the question asks for. So round up. And then same thing for SWG. We established that it was 24, as it was actually the sum of ni minus 1. So we had 24 here, we got the final answer, we added the 2, we got 26. And then for within, okay, now this one is actually a little tricky, because if you followed what they did up there, it was actually meant to be 4 times 9, okay? And this, yeah, this is something I don't get either, because they don't remain consistent with it either. 3 condition 4 measures. If you did 4 times 9, you wait, 3 times 9. Yeah, if you had done 4 times 9 and then subtract that 1, this should have technically given you 80. So I thought to myself, if 80 is wrong, how can 81 be right? Like, this is an inconsistency. I don't know why. I got this wrong on purpose, so I just wanted to show you that doing the homework module, you might not want to consider that -1, because blatantly there's that error there, despite what the hint says. So yeah, just fuck that. And also, I have no idea why it's 4. I tried 3 initially because I thought it was conditions, but I was wrong. So I tried 4 as well. I tried 26, and so yeah, I don't know. So you might be asking me, what should I do here? Condition -1. Over here, it's just 4. Don't ask me why. Yeah, probably it's because of, if we go all the way up here, this is for 4. We're doing within things, so they want all 4, conditions 3. So yeah, just leave it be. And so now if we go down here, SPW, this one is actually the more annoying but tricky one. So this one's actually 81. You divide that, you would get the final answer. Now this one's actually the more pissy one because of that M, which got me a lot of the times. And so for that, which is actually probably equal to the condition, so it's 4 times 36, whatever that, because that's that value, over, well, that's actually that bottom value, over that would give you 4.71. And so, yeah, it's pretty much the condition. I think it's a condition, but I could be wrong. There's so much uncertainty in this module, so go under the assumption it is the condition. So yeah, here's proof of me just getting it right, solid all the time. And then there's the color, there's all the right answer. So 31 over there, 36 over there, 3.2 over there. And then so yeah, they do the same thing here. I basically got a little bored and drew a little snowman. But essentially, take this formula and apply it over here. So they use 2, they use 24. That's your df1, df2. The area, obviously, 0.5. 1 minus 0.5, and then you would get your FC value. You put it in, you get it correct, and then you would determine with this value whether it's in range or not. With this number, we accept it. And then we continue down, we follow with this one. Obviously, it doesn't tell you this, so you have to go, because, yeah, it just doesn't tell you this. So when it pops up a second time, just assume that's the case. You put in 24, you put in 81, because you're going under the formula thing. That's why I'm stressing that. And so 95, you get 1.65. And then you have to determine whether this is in the bounds. And depending on that, you accept, you reject. Obviously, the right answer here is reject. And so that is Series B, Part 1. And you're about to see now in a minute why I call this Series B, Part R. I don't mean to stress anyone out, but this is actually what they did. So this is what actually looks like for B, but don't quote me on that. So yeah, continuing forward, I think it's B for that same reason, because, whoops, they still have that WG squared thing going on. So that's happening. So that's why I think it's B. And then so I think this is the latest one I did before I hit record. So this is why this is going to look a little bit more fresh. So this is actually what they do. They want you to take all these numbers, add them all up, squared, and then that's actually supposed to be a 21 because there's two 21s and there's two 20s. So yeah, so that's the correct answer for CM. And those are brackets, by the way. That's not a 1. Bracket. Okay. And then so you would add all of these ones up, subtract them with CM, SA. It becomes pretty standard once you do this after like a few times. And so yeah, hang on, we'll look at the measurement position. It's 0 again. We got lucky. And so yeah, following the same thing. Be careful when you enter your answer. Make sure it's in the measurement position. Okay, for this one, I kind of got lazy and input the thing already. So this one, it's 3 because we have already established up here it was 4 because 1, 2, 3, 4. We just subtract it from 1 and we get 3. And so it's 8,000 whatever divided by 3 MSA. This one's the same thing. 19 plus 20 plus 20 plus 19. That's because of 20 plus 21 plus 21 plus 20, which actually gives you let me check real quick. I think it's 82. Yep, it gives you 82. So you would just subtract this by 4, but I like doing it this way so that you're a little careful. And then you would do this, you would divide it by the SG, which is this number right here. And then you would be given your SG, SW, and then you would have to find the total, which is the two of them combined. 3 plus 87, 81. You put that underneath this guy right here. And then that gives you your answer. And then the F ratio, which is 36.12. Okay, and then so you would continue to play around with this thing again. Pretty straightforward. 378. Alpha is 0.95. And that's the F value we got. And then so here, it's correct again. And then so here we would be given a range of, this is actually the true range, where it's F, whoops, that's a little far. 0. So this is our range, and 36 is way over 2.3. And if you thought we were done here just by rejecting it, oh boy, you're wrong. So this is where the hard part comes in, okay? So the next part of the question wants you to first determine the order. And you can see why I'm pissed, okay? I'm mad because I did this like 3 times because of 1, 3, 4, or 2, which I'll explain to you why is the right answer, but it just made me mad. It's hella bugged. So if anything goes wrong, just blame the bug. So essentially what you do is you would take this number divided by this number. So you would take this and divide it by that, and then you would give it a score of like lowest or highest. And so if you scroll down, you would see that I've already ordered them. So this one is the lowest, this one was the highest, this one's the second lowest, this one's the second highest. And then you would first order it in that order. So you would basically be given like order it this way, like order the levels of factors A for the means. If level 3 is the lowest, put it in rank order number 1. So you see right here and how I'm really mad about that. So, and then for the next question, you would be asked to subtract all of them. So level 3 minus level 1. So you would be asked to subtract this from this, and then 4 from 1, and then 2 from 1 because it's the highest. So just like that. So you would do 4 minus 3, so 4 minus 3, and then you would do 2 minus 3, 2 minus 3, and you would do 2 minus 4. And so you would get the answer, and this is the difference you should get. You can try any one of those of what I just mentioned if this is confusing. So 3 minus 1, so take this, subtract it with this, you should get this as your final answer. I encourage you to try it out so that you believe me. And we'll call one of these values x moving forward because, oh boy, you already saw it. So so this is the formula they tell you, but before you even attempt that, you got to do this. And before you even attempt that, you got to do this. So what is this? You got to solve before you solve the equation? God damn it. Okay, so P in this case would be 4 because of the 4 conditions or the 4 groups. So that's why that's 4. And then you would do n of all of these. So this is practically 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2 dot dot dot. You see what happened to the rest. And then so that's what happened. That's what I had to input. So this is what came out as n. Obviously, I'm not going to do the whole thing. This took forever to put together. And then 7.0972. You might be wondering where this number came from. If we scroll all the way back up, where it's a little bit more visible, there it is. So we're going to need that particular number. So you're going to have to memorize this one specifically, because that's what we're going to enter right here for the SMSWG. And then so this is what would go underneath, divided by this, square root the whole thing, and then this number would actually translate out into, if you've been following along, is 1.93986538 Okay, I wasn't looking, so this is why it came out this badly. But this is what this value comes into, and you would have to take that and divide it all with level 3, level 1. So if you take, like, for example, this number divided by this, you should get this. So yeah, give any one of these a try, because that's what the solution is for calculating the t values, which completely bothers me. Actually, you know what? I should put that not as x, but as a, just to make things less confusing. So a minus x. So that a divided by x. So that should work out. Okay, and then you are not done yet. And then you have to pretty much solve for this, where you have to identify the alpha for all of these bad boys. You were pretty much given the chart, but you have to determine where each one of them goes. And in order to determine the df that you're required to do, you're going to have to scroll up and down, because this ranges from 1 to 100. Is this actually 78? Because we actually did that. If you remember all the way, where is it? Not here, not here. Here, technically we calculated the df to be 78. And so just to be safe, we do it one more time as 78, and we come up with that, okay? And so don't question me how, don't question how. The zero is the first one here. So that's the 0. This is the 1. I know this doesn't show. I think it could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's probably 0 going. It could be maybe 1, but I'm just going to call it 0 because that's more funnier. So that's the 0. This is the 1s, and this is the 2. So think of it like the, whatever the triangle is called, where it's like, I was about to call it the Bermuda's Triangle, but that's completely wrong. And then so, yeah, this is what you would do here. And then, when you just thought it was all finally over, you got the right answer, and then you got to figure out if the values are significant or not. I've read this like a couple hundred times. I would say this is what probably took me the longest. And since I wasn't able to figure this out, I really didn't. It was binary, so it would tell you which ones you got wrong, which ones you got right. And according to that, I adjusted and fixed it. So you pretty much would lose one area here. If you somehow got this right, please explain it to me in the things. And like it says here, your guess is as good as mine. If you guys do figure it out, please comment. And leave a like, share. This took a really long time, and I hope you enjoy. I'm sorry this took way too long than it should have, but I needed to pump something out quickly.